Hey everybody, we are out here on Prettyboy Reservoir. We're putting in at Graves Run today. It's a pretty windy day, and I think if we put in at the boat launch and tried to make our way out through that cove, I think we'd be fighting a lot of wind, and of course that puts us right out into the main channel, and again we'd probably just be fighting a lot of wind if we went out that way. So today we're kind of sneaking in the back door. We came out here to Graves Run, and I'm not even out of the little stream and into the sort of main body of the reservoir proper yet, and I can already feel the wind is picking up. So hopefully we'll be able to find a few little spots to tuck in out of the wind today. I'm not really out here to do a lot of intense paddling and fighting the wind or anything. I just want to come out here and enjoy myself. So hopefully we'll be able to find some spots that aren't too windy. There's a bunch of geese over here. We'll get to see them in a minute as we paddle by them. Unfortunately, I left the house in a hurry today. I forgot my head cam. Well, technically I have the camera. I just forgot the strap that puts it on my head. So we'll be using this camera, and at some point I can probably just pick up and hold the head cam and just use it like a handheld camera. But we're probably not going to get to see them on camera. But there's a ton of little goslings over there along with their parents. See if we can angle the camera over there a little bit for you. I don't know if you can see those little goslings over there along with the geese. If we come down here, we'll see some more. We're gonna have to go in some pretty shallow water to get down here though, and those geese are probably going to swim faster than me. They're already starting to hoof it. They think I'm coming for them. You see this little family of geese right there? They got 4 or 5 little goslings following along behind them. So that's about it, everybody. That sets the tone for today's video. It's going to be very leisurely, just kind of out here looking at scenery, paddling around. You can see we're in inches of water at this point, so I need to make my way down here and get out into a little bit deeper water than this. When I'm in water like this, I certainly run a chance on hitting a log or running into a big rock sticking up or something. Fortunately, the water's crystal clear today, so we're not going to have that issue. At any rate, let me get paddling down here. If I see anything else interesting, we will get that on camera. Otherwise, I'll just pop in from time to time when we have some interesting shoreline, maybe some pretty trees that are in flower. We'll see where we go. So I'll see you down around the bend. Alright everybody, it is proving to be windy everywhere we go, so we're going to come down here. We're going to tuck between this little island off to our right and the mainland off to our left, and we're going to tuck into this little cove up here, and hopefully we'll be out of the wind. There's not a whole lot to do back here or a whole lot to see, but the closer I get out to the main channel, the windier it seems to get. So again, we're gonna just kind of tuck up here. It doesn't look too bad. So we'll have a nice little paddle around this cove. Hopefully nobody will be back here fishing, because I don't want to come back here disturbing anybody. Don't know what kind of sights we're going to see, or if there's going to be any wildlife or anything, but we're just going to start by making our way back over into that corner there that you can see up ahead of us, and then we're going to hug the shoreline, just kind of wrap on around and see what we can see. Okay, we are definitely out of the wind back here. Finally some peace and quiet. There's so many tiny, dainty little flowers all through the woodland. It's a shame none of them are going to show up on camera. I'm hoping these white flowers here in front of us are showing up. No idea what they are, but they're really pretty. And then just to the right of that tree, you can actually see a little animal trail where they come down to the water. So I have no idea what that kind of tree is right there, but it's got pretty little white flowers all over it. So far, that is the only flowering tree I see back here. And again, there's loads of dainty little flowers along the forest floor. I had originally planned to head downstream today. We're in the more northern end of the reservoir up here, and you can see how everything's much flatter, and we've got much more sort of rolling hills and forested look. As you go further downstream, as you go further south, you will see more and more large boulders and rocky structures, and the water becomes much deeper, and the shoreline becomes much more rugged and jagged, very different looking than it is around here. And I wanted to head down there today just for something new. I've been coming around this end of the reservoir the last several times I've come out here, but it's just so windy out there today, and I know, as we were already starting to experience, once I get out on that main channel, it would have just been so much wind, and it would have been one way or the other. I would have had to fight the wind all the way down, and then possibly had the wind at my back on the way home, or possibly in the afternoon the wind would have died down and I would have had no help on the way home, or it would have been vice versa. I would have had the wind at my back on the way down, but I would have been fighting it on the way back. And again, I didn't come out here to fight the wind today. I came out here to just have a nice relaxing paddle. And so that is what we are gonna do. So let's just keep making our way around the shoreline. This was a little sort of cove within the cove. Now we're coming back out into the main body here. And there's one more little sort of notch like that that we're gonna tuck into as we come up around the bend here. So sit tight. We'll just have a little paddle along the shoreline. And again, we'll just see what we can see. Just have a nice little relax. See a beaver lodge off to the right there, big pile of sticks. That's actually on purpose. Well, you can see right up in the side of it. I don't know if that's an old one that's derelict or if it's a newer one under construction. I'm guessing it was an older one that was derelict. I see quite a few of those out here. See, even up here you can see it's still pretty rocky, and it still can get pretty deep pretty quickly off shoreline. Not sure how well you can see into the water, but we're passing some pretty large rocks, and as we come around the bend here we're going to see a few fairly large rocks. But by and large, all of the big rocky stuff is either all the way down towards the dam, or now that I'm thinking about it, once you get up towards the headwaters, once you get way up north, a couple of miles north of where we are, it actually does get sort of craggy and rocky again, more like a gorge than an open valley. So one of these days we'll get to one of the other ends, either way up top or way down south. Not today. Now, if I remember correctly, right around this little bend here, there's going to be some rocks sticking up. I think I used to fish along these rocks. Well, there's some big rocks underwater that I fish along, but not the ones sticking up that I was thinking of. I wonder if I'm thinking of somewhere else. I was really expecting to see a bunch of big rocks sticking up out of the water when we came around the bend there. Sorry about that. I've said before, I really enjoy having this long paddle. I have a 260 centimeter paddle. It's pretty much the longest paddle I could find, and I had to look around for this one. 250 centimeters is normally where they top out. So this is almost like a special extra long paddle, and I do like it for being out in open water. It really lets me paddle a lot more efficiently. But when I get up close to shore like this and I'm underneath the trees and tight up against stuff, this really long paddle like this is makes it a little tough to get through there without scraping and banging and knocking into stuff. Eventually we're going to make our way all the way up into the back of that cove that you can see out in front of us, but in the meantime we're going to go around that fallen tree you can see a little closer to in front of us. Maybe these are the rocks I was thinking of. Yeah, there they are. That's the rocks I was thinking of. And there is another derelict beaver lodge. I almost wonder if those are actual beaver lodges or if they're not the result of beavers just doing sort of habitual behavior and just piling sticks up, even though they don't need to build a lodge necessarily. Because I see an awful lot of those. They either look half built or they look really old and half torn down, but they're very clearly beaver lodges. They're not, you know, just piles of sticks that got washed up in a rainstorm or anything. Alright, let's see where I'm going through here. There's all kind of branches and hazards around here. Alright, let's go this way. There's one goose at the back of this cove, so there might be a nest somewhere. Hopefully they're not going to start screaming at me. Let me see if I can see any more up in the woods a little further away. That one's walking back up. There's another one. Yeah, I bet they got a little nest up there somewhere. They're going to start screaming at me in a minute. So we'll make it brief back here. Oh, there's a duck flying away. A couple of ducks. It's a mallard and a drake. Alright, right, Mom, I see you. Calm down. I'm turning. I'm going. I'm leaving. Just going away from here before they start squawking and making a fuss. Didn't come back here to bother the geese. So let us make our way back out into that corner we were just looking at. Leave the little goose alone. I didn't even see those ducks until they started flying away. For as brightly colored as those males are, you'd be surprised how hard they are to spot. Loads of fallen trees back here, and once again you can see there's still some pretty good rocky looking stuff going on, the way the trees are all growing up out of the rocks. I love the fern and the lichen. Again, one of these days we're gonna have to get down closer to where the dam is, and we'll really get to see some good craggy, rocky, jagged looking areas. That's a pretty good one there. We're going to actually turn around. Oh, let's see if I can do this without hitting my kayak against the rocks. There we go. I don't think you got a decent view of it as you went by. We came around that bush and you missed all that interesting texture there. See, so if you're familiar with my aquariums, and if you're watching this channel without being familiar with my other channel, my everyday fish keeping channel, if you look at my aquariums on that channel, you will see a certain sort of theme that goes on within them, and it all sort of revolves around what I see when I come out here. And you know, basically not just here, but everywhere I go ever since I've been a kid, all the places I hike and fish and streams and rivers I've been around, it's all very similar kind of landscape around here. And so you can get a pretty good idea where my motivation for my tankscapes come from. Oh, we got some big turtles on the log up there. Let's see how close we can get before they plop in. If you see this big tree right at the base of it, right at the water where it goes in, there's a big turtle, and then above that there's a smaller turtle. There's a tiny turtle on that little log to our right. Oh, there's another tiny little turtle. They're all over the place out here. That one in front of us is pretty big though. There they go. There's another one on the log that sits back there. There he goes. And I can see them all plopping off the logs up here. There's a turtle just poked his head up out of the water over there. They're all over the place back here. So for the longest time, I thought these turtles were Maryland terrapins. There's still a little tiny one on that big log in front of us. Nope, he just plopped into the water as I spoke. For the longest time, I thought all these turtles were Maryland terrapins, and when I was looking them up the other day, just so I could give somebody some more specific information about them, I realized that the Maryland terrapins, that was a carp, if you saw that fish jump, the Maryland terrapins are also known as the Chesapeake terrapin because they are saltwater turtles, and this is most definitely not saltwater. And so as I looked around at other turtle species that we have here in Maryland, we do have red ear sliders, but what I think these are is yellow belly sliders. I'm not 100% positive on that. I've never really gotten close enough to one to really see it, but I think they are yellow belly sliders. Very similar to the red ear sliders. They just don't have that telltale red marking on their side of their head, and of course they have the nice yellow bottom, hence the name yellow belly. So, alright, I think we can probably wrap up the video now. We're not going to see anything more exciting than what we've already been looking at. You can see how shallow the water is getting. I'm just going to come back here in the shade, take a break, drink some coffee, have a little bit of a relax myself. Oh, you know what? I never really even noticed this before, but we're going to keep on shooting some video for a few more minutes, because why not? I never realized there was an actual stream that flows into this little... almost every cove you come into out here is a cove, because it was a little stream valley before they flooded the whole valley and turned it into a reservoir. So every time you see a little channel like this, it's probably because once upon a time a little stream trickled through this, and it was, you know, a deep valley and not all filled with silt like we're seeing now. But some of those valleys are literally just, you know, gaps between the hills, or maybe they're from runoff and there's only a stream there when there's a rain or a storm. There's not always a flowing stream that flows in at the back of these places, but as I was going past, I kept hearing flowing, running water, and I looked up, and sure enough, there's a whole stream flowing in up here. So let's see how far up in this one we can actually get. Probably not too far, but it'll still be fun to see how far. Yeah, I can see little rapids up there splashing over some rocks and stuff, so we're certainly not going to be able to go that far. I had no idea this was this much of a stream flowing in here. We're probably going to start scraping the bottom here in a second. I'm really surprised we've gotten this far up here. Wow. The water's actually flowing fast enough at this point that I have to keep paddling. I'm paddling against the current. I had no idea I'd be able to get back this far. Ooh, that's some really good looking wood there on our left too. Look at this, we're getting way up here. See, this is where having this 260 centimeter paddle is not my friend. Although I can use it to push off the shore. I cannot believe how far we're getting up this little stream. Well, now I'm sure you can see all the little rapids that are flowing in too. I kept saying we'd never be able to get that far up here, but this is as far as we're going to get. Look at that. I'm going to have to turn around and walk the kayak back out of here. Alright everybody, we're going to call this the end of the line. That was an unexpected little adventure. Look at that. Heading right upstream into this little set of rapids. Let's see how far we can actually go. I think that's going to be it. Yep, there you go everybody. That's as far as we can make it. How awesome is that? Alright everybody, that was a fun little trip. The water is already starting to push me backwards. So I'm going to see if I can't back my way out of here, but I'm probably going to wind up having to get out. Just pick the kayak up and turn it around to walk it on out of here. But either way, again, this was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting to find this little stream flowing in back here. Maybe one of these days we'll come back here and we'll get out and we'll take a little walk and we'll see where it actually goes. Or maybe when I get home tonight, I'll look at the map and see where it goes. Either way, I'm glad you found it with me. We had a good time coming back here. I hope you enjoyed that too. So make sure you subscribe. Check out my other channel if you're not already familiar with it, where I do my everyday fish keeping. There's a link down below. So thanks again for watching this one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.